Holy cow. I think I got this finally. Good morning. Can you hear me?
GM, sir, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
GM, sir. I can hear you. There we go. Hell yeah. Got it. Got it.
Oh,
Was trying to play around and get a little too fancy this morning with an intro and the Kong song, which I freaking love. And I lost like within a second playing playing You Groove, You Lose. I always lose. I lose real quick. How are you, man? What's good?
yeah, you cut that Collins out
Yeah,
quick.
you cut that Collins out quick.
I'm.
I cut what out quick?
You know what?
You know
I'm
what?
getting a delay. Maybe I
I'm
need to
getting a
reconnect.
delay.
It's
Maybe I
like
need to reconnect.
feedbacking into my headset.
No, I think that's my setting again. I think it should be better now. Hopefully,
Okay, let me see.
better.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. I said the Collins anthem was playing, and I was just about to groove, and then it stopped.
So you actually won this time.
Did I win?
Well, you
Is
win
that?
if you groove, you lose. So I was grooving.
I didn't even get to.
If you didn't get a chance to
Yeah,
groove
no, I
yet,
didn't
you
even get
won.
to.
Yeah. All right, you
Yeah,
won.
you. That was a tease, sir. That was too much of a tease. Like I almost left to go listen to it on YouTube, uh, to then come back in and do the show because that it's kind of hard to get the first 10 seconds and not be able to get my body moving. You know how that is, sir.
Oh, I know
But I'm good.
exactly.
I'm good.
I know exactly how it is. Yeah. I'm glad you joined. Good morning, Andrew. I see you there. Andrew's looking at the big time chart. Is that the NFT? Or do they have a token? Sometimes, like this is awful, but I'm still so unplugged. I should know this a little more like off the
No, no,
top.
there's tons of dude. There's so much about this. It's impossible. It's like it's somebody talking,
You're hitting that special spot of
and
your
you're
internet, I
like,
can
"Oh,
tell.
which sport is that?"
All right, hang on. We're going to bring this up. Here we go. Andrew, am I looking at the right thing?
Curses, sir.
Maybe we'll
Curses.
circle back. Hang on. I just got to find this now. Big time. But I need
I'm not in that spot, by the way.
All right, we'll come. You are or not?
I'm not. No. Just sometimes I'm on my car Wi-Fi, and sometimes I'm not.
All right. Kat says he's talking about a token. I'm going to give it one quick try to find it. That's probably not the name of it, but whatever. We'll circle back. If somebody's got, no, that's probably it right here. Yeah, gaming tokens are going fucking wild now. I FOMO'd into something. I have so little to play with, and I FOMO'd into some of that Val token. I saw a buddy of mine, I think it was Nifty Q, who I do the NFT live show with. He bought some Val. I'm like, damn it, okay, I got to get some exposure there. So I got the land instead of buying Val. And like the land is in the middle of a pump right now, like almost 2x'd in the past like 24, 48 hours. It's not a bad play. It's just something I think will hold its value anyways. And if I lose, it's a little. And if I can hold a couple of weeks, if I can stretch it, then it's a good play. But I should have bought Val. Yeah, we got to go over these gaming tokens today because we're really entering that gaming season in a different kind of way. Like it's really, really here. But with that said, why don't we get into it? Why don't we do a little market? We can hit on top stories of the week. It was, I don't know, I would say it was a relatively slower week for news, even though the stories that came out this week were really big, but less, there was fewer stories. They were like I said, big ones. So, Henry, have you been like tapped into the market this week? Do you know what's going on out there?
Yeah, a little bit, but I always like to hear your take on it. But I feel like because it was a slower week, it was maybe just a little bit easier to keep up on things.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same. I'm glad you were able to keep up a bit too. Bummer here. It looks like our index page is going through maybe a little maintenance. I can't get like the forecast 500 up, which sucks because I really want to show one blockchain in particular. Any guess on what blockchain that is?
Ooh, I am going to say it's not Ethereum. I'm going to guess it's Bitcoin. Possibly Solana.
Yeah, Solana, man. Solana's had a monster week is almost an understatement for how big it is for what's actually going on over there. I'll do some of this from memory, and I'll also let me say Well, I got screenshots. You know what? I got screenshots and tweets, so we'll be able to explain the market a bit. When this was live this morning, though, market was in the red just a little bit. Nothing. I would say nothing to worry about. No concerns. Usually the market does slow down a bit on Fridays. It does actually too, but especially Saturday and Sunday. But for the month of November, right, we've got the completed month to look at. We actually did have our all-time best performing month when it comes to the value of the market, which is shocking. I wish I could pull that up to show you here. As we get a little deeper, I can search through some tweets, and I'm sure I have a screenshot of it. But the last I recall was that November finished up, I think it was either 23 or 28%, which is, man, it's just an astronomical number. If you look at that index like every month, normally we're down like 5-10%. It's always that steady decline. It's that decline that brought us to that, 99% worthless. But we gained 23 to 28% in November. It's honestly insane. The previous high was January. In January, we were up 17%. So we blew that away. Again, the all-time best performing month for the index ever. NFTs are in a very, very, very good spot. Now, we're going to get to Solana in a minute, but Solana is also doing something I don't think we've ever seen before, even on Ethereum, on Polygon, on any of these other blockchains we track. The value increase happening on Solana, again, I've not seen gains like that before. We'll go over the numbers here, and I'll show you why and what, but absolutely wild. Andrew, did I take a look into TCG? Don't hate me, brother, but I didn't. At least I'm not prepared. I think we should just do it live here today, though, because there's just not a ton of news to talk about. So we'll do TCG live here shortly. I'll go over the numbers, though, from yesterday. 33.2 million in cross-chain sales. Really, really solid day. In fact, one of the higher days of the week. So yesterday, solid day for sales volume. My favorite stat, though, that I've been seeing this week especially, unique buyers has really crept up, and so is total transactions. I love that because that, to me, shows a healthier market, right? More traders are getting involved. I have been trading NFTs a lot bit more than I was like 2 or 3 or 4 weeks ago, where I wasn't touching anything. Well, this week, here and there, I'm trading some NFTs, maybe selling some stuff I've had packed in my bags for a while. And I have a feeling my buddies, like you guys, are probably doing the same, maybe starting to get engaged a bit. We have to see that for this really to be a sustainable thing. And I feel like that is just starting to happen. Henry, have you traded any NFTs maybe in the past couple of weeks here?
I did. I sold Sugarland, and that felt kind of nice.
Is that the Zynga one?
Yeah, it's Animoca backed.
Sugarland. Okay.
Yeah, it's like it almost looks like an Azuki bean. I had a nice one, but you know what? I sold it just because I wanted to feel something. I needed to feel something. So yeah, no, for real. I did it. I actually wanted to keep it, and then I bought something that I shouldn't have, but that's okay. But it felt good, and then I took part in the grapes pre-sale this week, so it felt good. I'm gonna buy some Ron today. So
not too late for Ron, huh?
Dude, look at the 30-day chart on Ron. It's I think Ron's got a way to go. They're onboarding. They're going to be the gaming chain. I really believe that, and I think they'll have some central exchange listings. That's not insider info. That's just my guess.
Yeah. Well, but it makes sense. Yeah. I think I fucked up by buying that Valeria land. Like I just locked up like pretty much all my ETH. Again, great product.
You 2x, right?
But what's that?
You said you 2x'd it, right?
No, I bought it after it's basically 2x'd.
Oh,
just
gotcha.
Knowing they're launching their game beta. And here's the thing, and I know Katz will get, he's here, so he'll get way into this. And I want to hold off the Valeria talk, like deep talk, till a little deeper in. Welcome, Katz, by the way. But it's something Kat's been preaching all along. People don't know about it still. They really, really don't. So knowing their beta drops, I believe, next week, and that people are just starting to get exposure to the Val token, I feel like just even parking in that land, it's a safe short-term bet. It's a great longer-term bet, but my position, it probably wasn't smart. I would have been probably smarter putting it into the Val token, probably getting some Ron. I'll see what I can, adjust from here. But hey, Katz, welcome. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, morning.
I bet you're excited to get into little Valeria. So we'll do that here
I
in
mean,
just a
I'm
bit.
I'm always excited. I'm honestly more surprised. I'm like, it's too early, but it's okay. It'll be fun.
Well, people are seeing all this great action in those other tokens, and they're looking for where's the opportunities. What have they not missed yet? I think I think Valeria, and you've been a great ambassador for them. I think they are starting to. I don't know. The pieces are coming together because they've seen the token name. I guess they've heard like some talk about the project, but now it's starting to get mentioned in top performing coins at least because it's had a major pump this week. You're right. It is early, but I think when it rises, I think like the chart shows, it's really, really going to rise. Like that is a very impressive looking chart. I'll actually pull it up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, from the get-go, and again, that the token is a community LP. The team actually doesn't have anything to do with that, but they purposely have not marketed anything yet. They haven't really had any done any publicity yet because their whole intent is to have everything come out at once and just blitz everybody with tons of stuff at once. And like you said, I mean, the private beta starts December 9th. Huge announcements start December 10th. The TCG founder says December 11th. And then a bunch of marketing starts. So that's what I'm saying. Like even before all that, like that's when I expected like people to start at least noticing it. So it's a little earlier than I expected, but
Yep. I think I'm looking at
you'll
them
be
now.
fine with that land. If you want
Yeah.
to flip it, you'll be able to.
Yeah, see, as a long-term thing, I'm positive of that. So I've got other assets too that I think are liquid, like pudgies are pumping, right? I don't have a pudgy, I got a little pudgy, which are doing phenomenally too. So I've got stuff where that doesn't hurt me too bad. I'm going to switch back real quick to the market just to look at how the week is performing compared to last week. We still have a day and a half to go in our data period here, but almost 160 mil in cross-chain sales this week. Again, what I find more impressive, it's like I said earlier, unique buyers is up. Still with that day and a half to go, we are like, I don't know, 70 something thousand higher than last week. So that's a big jump, a big increase in participants. Again, that's healthy. We need to keep seeing more of that. Maybe equally impressive, and I'm going to scroll down as I talk about this. Trade profits this week, so sellers on the winning end of trades, they're up 3.7 million this week. And again, I'm scrolling back because that might be the best we've seen this year. Most of the year, traders or sellers have been on the losing end of trade, multiple millions of dollars. Okay, so February, sellers were up 12 mil. That was our best of the year. Another week in February, they were up 4 mil. Okay, so it looks like as of right now, we're on pace for our third best week for profits, which is incredible. We haven't seen that much this year. That will definitely encourage people to keep trading, and that's why we're seeing that buyer number creep up. People are starting to see that action. They are starting to be in profits a bit, and so they're playing. Next indicator I'm watching for, which is already happening, it's mints, right? New mints, whether they're free or cheap or whatever. That's what really, really gets us rocking, right? And I think that's coming. Are you guys seeing that too? There are new projects starting to mint, especially on Bitcoin, but Ethereum stuff. There's stuff popping up here and there, right?
Yeah, AOF verse just did a free mint this week. I think it went from free to 0.6, 0.7, somewhere in that range.
Jesus. Yep. Okay, I saw them pop up on our leaderboard. They were a top 10 collection this week. That's it. That's exactly what you got to see is new mints that come out that are profitable. When traders get a taste of that, they're ready to roll the dice again. So that's a great sign. Really, really, I don't know. We're primed perfectly to start the year. Our typical January boom, new tax year, people with a lot more money to play around with. They're a little more free to spend when the new year comes, and we're again in a good position. People have liquidity. We've got airdrops coming. That meme coin is just going to keep trickling out, I believe, which is awesome. We got people farming for Portal. We've got that Friendtech airdrop, which I'm going to get into Friendtech. I actually don't think they're in as bad a shape as people might make it sound. And then we've got so much liquidity locked up on Blast. That'll all unlock maybe early spring. It might be late winter, but we might have a perfect storm brewing for this market to just explode, especially if ETFs are approved early, especially if crypto continues to run, which it feels like it's going to. Maybe want to make a prediction. It's probably not smart, but I could see an outcome where we actually outperform 2022, which that's a really, really bold statement. I don't want to I don't want to put any money on that bet, but if we get that perfect storm, why not? That next crypto run might be the one that brings in fresh blood, new people who are finally ready to touch Bitcoin, probably because of ETFs. And when they touch it, I think they're willing to roll their dice on NFTs. Just get there first, just cause. A cheap one, right? A Starbucks NFT, something that's 20, 50 bucks, something like that, just to have it. And that's what really opens the floodgates for NFTs. So again, I see that perfect storm coming. I guess last thing on the market here, taking a look at the monthly view here, November, almost $1 billion, which we haven't seen that in quite a while, too. I mean, 6, 7, 8 months. So finished at $915 million, our fourth best performing month of the year. So really fantastic November. December, can we keep up that pace? I'm not so sure. I don't know how I could even gauge that. So I don't know. Just super hopeful about it. We are in a really, really good spot. And then just looking at the top 10 collections here, I think this is the past 24 hours. Yes, it is. Bored Apes at the top. Pudgy Penguins, again, have been on fire. They're at number 2. This week, they hit an all-time high as far as US dollar value. Ethereum value, I don't think they've hit it yet. They could have maybe in the past 24 hours here, but they are absolutely rocking. We also have D-Market, Mad Lads, which we'll get into with Solana, Milady Maker, Bitcoin on Soul. Don't know what the hell those are. Gods Unchained, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Ordinals, and Azuki. And I shifted those all up one because there's a project here called RBX Vesting Vouchers. I think those are just liquidity positions, and we don't count them as NFT, so that needs to get blown away. But yeah, strong looking market, and I think that takes us right to Solana, because Solana is really, to me, the news of the week, both with having that like premier PFP, right? Like that what I hate to use the word, but blue chip. I think they finally have a blue chip again after having that void when D-Gods and Utes both left that ecosystem. They really didn't have anything. Like I guess SMB was a solid option, but it didn't have that same vibe or feel. So it never became like just that PFP on Solana you got to have. Well, Mad Lads is definitely that. In the past week, multiple of those Mad Lads selling for multiple, I'm going to do ETH value, but 10 ETH plus. So they finally have their PFP. I think the art's unique. In a way, gives me a D-Gods feel, as in there's nothing that looks like them. But they've got that backing of that team called Backpack. They're launching an exchange in Dubai. So those guys are primed to be just the elite of the elite, competing with any of the big boys on any other chain. And Solana it's just maturing in a way that I didn't really think was possible. So Tyler here pointed out some interesting stuff. First, he said that there was like, here it was, $10 million that was bridged from Ethereum to Solana. And I think that was in a 1-week period. But even bigger than that was almost a $500 million inflow onto Solana. And I don't know if that's from Ethereum necessarily, but just that type of new money coming into the Solana ecosystem. So that got me digging, right? I go look at the indexes and I realize the Solana NFT ecosystem, and this is measuring the value again, up 81% in the past 30 days. That is the number I mentioned at the start of the show that's unheard of. That would be like on Ethereum, us doubling in a month, right? Bored Apes going from 30 ETH floor to 60 ETH floor, and CryptoPunks going from 50 to 100, and just follow that train of thought. We haven't seen that in a while on Ethereum. It's happening right now on Solana. So Solana, really, really interesting. Now, are you guys touching that ecosystem yet?
Just the Bodagos. I have a couple NFTs on Solana, but yeah, definitely making some waves right now. Seems to be a lot of degens that, it's funny, like the chain maxis seem to now people are a little more agnostic now, right? So they're like, okay, buying, not on mainnet. So yeah, I think Solana's got a lot of room.
It's funny that the chain maxis, again, I think we've learned over the years now, nothing people say is real. It's not. All that matters is gains. And that applies to everything in the space, everything, the whole we're building thing, and people like throwing that out and they're, saying they're behind that. They don't care. It's if there's gains, that's what they're into. And you're exactly right. It doesn't matter what chain it's on. And these same people probably still shit on the Solana blockchain for the tech side of it, right? The fact that they can turn off validators. But it doesn't matter. If you can get gains there, you're all on board and you're a believer and full throttle Solana. So yeah, dude. I am way underexposed over there. I'm with you. I've got just a Bodago, which I think those are going to do really well too, to be honest. Just really, really strong team and very in your face with like marketing, right? They've got an awesome show. So I think Bodagos are going to be pretty decent over there. Katz, you touching Solana at all?
No, I'm not.
I guess you don't need to with your 100 stack of land or whatever you're up to. Andrew, you bought your friends and family 3 Sol for Christmas. Oh, dude, that's right. Because we were talking about what's the Christmas gift this year. What was the price of Sol last year?
Man, around this time, wasn't it like sub $20 or so, or around $20?
So if he got his fam 3 Sol for Christmas, you're right, because this was right after FTX, and that really crippled Solana.
I feel like it went to like 18 or 13, or it had dropped a little bit into the teens, I believe.
Yeah, so Andrew's got his he said 11 to 13. So he's got his family in profits, which is pretty awesome. That's exactly what you want to do. So that's pretty fantastic. Let's show a little story here. This is kind of off topic, maybe not exactly. CoinDesk put out a tweet saying crypto is inching towards bull market territory. I don't know what officially puts us there because I feel like we're there. He's saying NFTs, or they're saying NFTs have failed to benefit from the market euphoria. It makes it really makes me wonder how much they know about NFTs at all. I don't know how you can be reporting on NFTs and come out with a statement like that, right? That NFTs have not benefited in any way, right? So I saw this guy named Barbara reply to that tweet using one of our indexes. He was showing the value of NFTs on the rise over the last 60 days, so something we loosely touched on. And he's right. I had to follow it up with another tweet, and this is stuff I wanted to show earlier, but that 30-day chart for Solana, actually, this is the 60-day for Solana. So similar sentiment, though, up 71%. Ethereum up almost 30% in the past 60 days. And then again, November was the fourth best month of the year for sales volume. How do you report on this stuff and be taken seriously with a comment like that NFTs haven't benefited from the market euphoria when we're up majorly? Do you guys use CoinDesk?
Maybe so. Just a question: are they talking about all NFTs, or are they talking about Crow NFTs specifically?
So they are talking about all.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's just stupid.
So they were using a Nansen, like our forecast 500. There's like a Nansen 500. Here's their mistake: they were doing year to date. So they said year to date the value's down 50%. We're like, well, of course it is. We know that. That's but we were saying earlier in a few months back that we were down 99% all time, and on the year down like 70 something percent. So of course, if you look at year to date, it's down. But if you're saying that it didn't benefit from the market euphoria, you're throwing up the wrong measurement, the wrong metric. You measure from the time that crypto started pumping again to see if we actually benefited, and we did, again, in a major, major way. So yes, NFTs are rising along with crypto. CoinDesk got that completely wrong. Maybe they should use our indexes. That is all. Or maybe they should just look at this all the right way. So CoinDesk, reach out to me if you need some help, bros.
I hadn't thought about it. If you ever looked into like crypto.com NFTs?
I have some, yeah, early on, because Henry and I were both big into Crow very early.
Yeah.
So we were in that ecosystem. I don't remember what I have over there exactly.
I had a friend that was into that, and I was like, it's just like if that, because I told you I used to, like, when we were first doing this, I wanted to learn about all of them. So I mean, I got some Solana NFTs, I got Cardano NFTs, all kinds of other stuff, but I just couldn't expand to crypto.com. I'm like, I just can't do it. But I never hear about them anymore. I never hear those friends anymore chirping. So I just didn't. I didn't know how that system was doing because I never see that on any of your lists. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's something off-putting about the ecosystem. It doesn't feel very decentralized. I guess it's not, right? I mean, I think a lot of these, the NFTs, especially on the Kronos blockchain, I mean, they are kind of centralized. But I do think they do like Polygon, and they might do Ethereum NFTs too, but mostly the stuff they do there doesn't appeal to me like at all. It's It's just a type of art and collectible that just I don't see any way I would use them and any reason for me to collect. So I'm with you there.
Yeah, I
Although
agree.
they've had brands like the Philadelphia 76ers, they put out weekly drops with them for a while, and maybe they still are. Aston Martin, yeah, they got a lot of brands, but again, I just don't know anyone who's really trading them except for Carlini, who's a loaded Lions whale. So
I was gonna say the Lions, man. Those ran there for a little bit.
I mean, floor price is still $1,000, so not bad at all.
Oh, it's
Man,
not bad.
not
Yeah,
bad.
it's not
I
bad.
remember those too, like no alpha from our guy. None.
Speaking of
Are you
Solana, I
surprised?
think
No.
OK Bears, I think has I think they've got a licensing agreement that they're doing with Zara, the store, like you see it in malls. They've got like 2 OK Bears, I think, that are getting licensed for some Zara brand. I saw that this morning.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good
correct.
shit. Wow.
They talked about it on NFT Live on Wednesday or Thursday. Huda.
Oh, did I? Was I there? Man, I missed that.
I don't think you were
entirely.
on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember that at all. I'm excited over there, by the way. So we do this like NFT ranking thing, which is super super fun. But we're gonna revamp that because things are just growing in a way where we either need to split that across by chain, or basically we got to give some love to the other chains because there are projects that in their ecosystem are top dogs. So like OK Bears, if they're not on that chart, they should be. I think Mad Lads wasn't on there till recently too. So I can't wait. We're gonna mix that up and make that. We're giving it a buff. It's gonna be pretty damn cool soon. I'm gonna give you guys the choice for top story that we get into here this week. I think the top 2 stories are either DeGods. Okay, so DeGods with their new Clarity initiative, or is it? Let me make sure I got my right second one here. There's kind of 2 of them here. Shrapnel or Illuvium partnering with a major esports team. I think Shrapnel. Let's do Shrapnel versus DeGods. What do you guys pick?
DeGods.
DeGods. Those
Yeah, that's
freaking
fine.
DeGods. Okay, man. I have tweeted this a couple times this week. I don't get DeGods. Well, actually, the thing is, I think I do get it. I don't get why a lot of people didn't get it much earlier. And what I didn't understand was we're really bullish on them, or were, right? People in general were super bullish on the team. But what are they that's different from any other PFP that's just simply a PFP in a community, right? I really just I scratch my head over it. And I'm like, okay, but their thing is they just rebrand over and over and over. And again, that's their thing. There's something about it I still don't get. So Tyler, I freaking love Tyler, but he tweeted out that the DeGods roadmap is arguably the biggest from any PFP project to date. I don't see it. I also don't think he's completely wrong because it was a lot all at once, but I think a lot of things that we've seen in other projects, and nothing actually new. So DeGod's announcement, let me see if I can do like a TLDR on it. Those female avatars are finally coming. If you are a female holder of a DeGod, you get a free custom 1/1 female avatar. They're working with artists that'll draw those to your liking. You can help. You can give input on how you want it to look. So that was something. I do think there's an art change coming now for the 4th time to the collection. I do like that about DeGods. I like that they're always mixing it up and they give you the option to pick to I guess leave your DeGod as is or to change to the new art style. But the rest was like social stuff, right? Let's see here. So DXYZ.
Yeah, the Parlor, was it?
Well, Parlor's gone. So Points
Yep.
Parlor is gone as part of the deal. That was like a reward system. You can I think with their dust currency or points you accrue, you could enter raffles, and they gave away a Tesla and iPads and all kinds of cool stuff. But that's gone. And their introduction now is of multiple platforms. So DXYZ is just the I guess consolidation of all of their communities. So DeGods, Utes, and the Bitcoin DeGods, which is now being run not by the community but by the D-Labs team. So all of those now they're building them under this one umbrella on the same blockchain, other than the Bitcoin ones. And it, to me, if that's the announcement, again, that is just something we have seen over and over and over again. They have DID, which I do like this, but again, I don't think it's anything game-changing. But DID is a reputation system, which is cool. I've always said that I think we need a like a social credit system. This is basically the same thing, but a way to be anonymous, but also have your reputation out there for people to see. To me, that helps with maybe doing like trades, just simply for trades, even, right? Making trades outside of marketplaces. Somebody who has a high reputation, you may be okay trading with them, like a trust trade. So I like DID. What else did they do? D Network, which is kind of like Made by Apes in a way. It's just a directory of D gods and Utes and whatnot. D groups. Yeah, I mean, the list, I could go on and on. It's just a buff to the community, and it's incremental growth. But again, I think nothing groundbreaking. So all that said, guys, what did you see in D gods that you liked or didn't like, or general thoughts on D gods?
Yeah, I think overall, a lot of the hype with D gods and Utes is just Frank. He's a character, so I think people like to speculate. And at the end of the day, I think if you break down, I think they got rid of Points Parlor because it's not sustainable. They thought it would be a vehicle for partnerships, and they just weren't able to secure those. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think it's another project. It's another community. If you like it, you like it. If you're not in it, you probably don't care about it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that's what a lot of Web3 is. Once you take out the speculation and the price action going, parabolic, then I think what you're left with is the core community. So like once you're out of that insane price action, I think that's when you can really tell is this something for real or not? Does the community stick by when we're not running from 2 ETH to 10 ETH or whatever it may be? So I think it's easy to be hyped on something when it's running, and then you get to find out like what the team's made out of. Personally, I don't have an issue with them pivoting. I think it's a bit normal. I do think they pivot a lot. Migrating youth. Well, like the Points Parlor, that was kind of recently, right? Within the last month or so that they shut that down. So I just look at it like they did Points Parlor, they got rid of Points Parlor, they migrated Utes, now they're migrating Utes back. The fourth, is this now the fourth update with to D Gods? Is this season 4?
Yeah, as far as the art, yep.
And part of the thing I guess I like about it is that they give you the option, but to me, there's something about the RNG of a collection that I think is special. Like a collection was randomly generated, and this is what the collection is. Being able to upgrade traits like what Captains does and what some projects do, I'm totally down for that. Completely changing the art. It's not my style. Like it's not my thing. But if the community likes it, awesome. I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know what it is that they're ultimately going for, other than to continue to bring tools to their community that they hope expands, their presence in the space. But if that's their play, that's their play, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, to me, like, great take, by the way. I think you see that very clearly. I feel like they are that we're building meme. You know what I mean? Like for years now, they claim to have been building, and certainly they are. Like if you have products and apps and I guess tools now to release, they are building, but to me, it's just still building the community. And I think there's nothing wrong with just saying we are a community project and that's what we're building. And to that end, I think they're doing fine. But I think people had assumed there was a lot more going on, and in truth, it is still just a PFP that a community rallies behind. I think not a lot more than that. And but I think in NFTs you don't have to be. I think just be upfront about that's what you are.
Also, I can only imagine what they're working on behind the scenes that they can't talk about. I'm sure there's things that they are doing that aren't, quite close to the finish line to be able to announce. And if you want to be this global brand, I think you have to be able to have these things, these tools in your toolbox, that when when you're in front of the masses, that you already have these tools in place. So to me, it makes sense, even though like I'm not in that ecosystem anymore. I might have one Ute. I'm like, I get the play, because when you're approaching big brands and you're like, hey, this is who we are, this is what we do, let us show you some of the things we've built. I think that's important for the long term, for people to see like, oh no, you've actually done something, even though we may be like, yeah, well, nobody else cares other than your community. it's kind of the way that you've got to be able to build from within, and then you can build out and get those tentacles out into other larger brands that you think will eventually bring more value back to your holders.
Yeah. I like the Utes, by the way. Kind of like D Gods. I like the art style a ton. I like how unique they look. That is a PFP I've debated multiple times getting, partially because, okay, I don't know that this is totally true, but I know it is true to at least some degree. To grow a following, to some degree, you have to have a PFP that's in that in kind of crew or in group or whatever. It's very hard. This simple. People listen much more if you have the right PFP on. We've seen that. And of course, that's obvious with a Bored Ape NFT. Same with a Nizuki NFT. And that does apply to Utes and D-Gods quite a bit too. It's very hard it's harder to build an audience when you have, well, I'd say like a CryptoBats profile picture. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's sad, but yeah, there is some sort of credibility given when somebody has a particular PFP, which I think is unbelievably stupid, because how many people are right-click saving something? Like you see it all the time, somebody rocking a mutant or an ape, and it's not even theirs. So you're right, it's a psychological thing, but it's dumber than hell in my mind.
Yeah.
I have takes.
Oh, well, I want to hear this. I'll mention real quick. I've been tempted to grab a Funk. They've got that rabid community, and I think I think that's one of those cheaper PFPs that you can kind of get away with the same thing, at least like a built-in community. And but there's so many Punk derivatives too that you can always do that. That's a hack, right? You can just buy any Punk derivative, throw that as your PFP, and it kind of works. So just throwing that out there. Cats, yes, I need your takes.
I hate to always go back to Valeria, right? But
I don't think you hate it, but go ahead.
this is, well, I know you all hate it, but literally, like our biggest whale bought a laser-eyed Bored Ape Yacht Club and went to Hong Kong, and like some of the action that we're getting is because of that. He's gotten a lot more attention because of that PFP versus his custom Valeria PFP, right?
Yep.
Like, it is what it is. It is the Web3 space. And they know that. So that's why they're bringing in Seed Phrase. That's why they're bringing in the number one ape. That's why they're bringing in Dingaling Suzuki. Like, because when those guys then tweet about it coming up, it gets attention. It's free marketing. Like, so that PFP still is marketing. It is what it is. That's what the space is. It's who people recognize. And so, it's part of it. Now, do I agree? I totally agree with Henry. It's dumb because, anybody can build a following with bots too. And I mean, you can look, oh, this guy's got 500,000 followers. He must know what he's doing. Like, come on, haven't we learned anything yet? But we really haven't. And as the bull run comes, people follow people and just jump in, and so really it's also a marketing thing, just having that PFP.
Yeah, credit to people who see it and who actually, I guess, move on it, because you're nail on the head. I mean, it works. It's one of the few things that does work. And yeah, it's unfortunate that it does, and it also makes sense. It's all about attention. That is what the space is almost entirely about. Those kind of things get you attention. So to some degree, if you are trying to build your own audience, you kind of have to do it. You do. Again, it is what it is. I guess nothing more.
Yeah, and it depends on the audience you want too, because I mean, I don't know that necessarily the art scene people care about that. Like there's a whole different side to NFTs. Like, they don't care what your profile is unless you've got a big artist as your PFP. All of a sudden, I don't know.
That's a funny point. I'm going to pull up a PFP over on in the art space here. Let me get this right here. But even in the art space, there are certain ones that get you a little credibility too. Let me see if I can get this quick.
That's why the Opepin thing was so cool, is because it kind of merged those two.
Henry, what's up?
It reminds me of like Hillary Clinton moving to New York so she could run as a senator there.
Oh, dude.
Moving from Arkansas.
That's awesome. That's a great.
It just gives 100%. Me that vibe. It's not exactly the same, but it's like, oh yeah, you're not really from here. French Montana did it with Cyberkongs. French Montana bought a Genesis Kong ultimately to try to sell his shitty project to Cyberkongs, and that eventually sold it. Same with this ape. It was nothing more than like, oh, let me try to fit in. Let me fit in with the cool people that I'm trying to extract value from. So yeah, it's a little gross to me.
Yeah, something I have sold, I think, over here, but man, their site's not working. I don't know why I have 100 something Tez in here.
What happened with the 2 week delay? I didn't get to dive into that. I've been super
Yeah.
busy at work this week.
Well, okay, so yeah, let's get into that. Let me see if there was any other like kind of market or topic things here. We're gonna circle back to Blast and Frentech because I do have some comments on that. But yeah, let's do FX Hash because that was a big thing this week. I'm sorry, I'm trying to see if I'm crazy here. I feel like something I have sold. Maybe not. Maybe I bought some Tez yesterday and maybe that was it. I just forgot. Okay, so FX Hash. Yeah, I was thinking of pulling up my other video. So they were launching a new marketplace. It was supposed to go live yesterday. It's called FX Hash 2.0. This is their new Genesis, I guess, mints over on Ethereum. So for the first time, artists that mint on FX Hash can choose to mint on Tezos or on Ethereum. And they've got, let's see if it's actually working right now, but they have this launch calendar full of really great art. By the way, some of this art is going to have really awesome secondaries and maybe some good lifetime sales. I mean, there's going to be some grails that come out of this. So goes live yesterday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And right off the bat, actually, let me back up. Leading up to this, they had said that it was coming right down to the wire as far as getting the ETH side of it completely ready to roll. So already like the day before, people were saying, maybe you should delay, maybe, because you don't want a chance with people who have like kind of maybe sold NFTs for liquidity, people have taken time off of work to be here for when the drops are live. You don't want a chance that it doesn't happen and you screw over people's schedules and, you know, maybe some financial positions. And they did end up delaying. They just, for whatever reason, could not get it working right. Even if they got it live, like got the functionality there, the artists who minted on Ethereum, they couldn't actually upload their stuff to the site. So just all of it didn't come together in enough time. And after it was delayed an hour and then 2 hours and then 3 hours, finally, you know, they were getting so much negative feedback from people who just, you know, maybe they had whitelists that were open for an hour and they're like, guys, I've been waiting for this. Now I'm going to miss it entirely. Like my window of time to mint is gone. And people just saying it's not fair, which it wasn't. So they decided to delay the mint for the Ethereum stuff by almost 2 weeks here. December 12th is the new date for the launch. Some projects did actually go yesterday, like Mark Nolan, his Small Skull collab. That went yesterday, but that was a Tezos drop, so that one worked. But the Ethereum ones, again, did not go, and they just decided to pull the plug and delay it a couple weeks. Good decision. They just should have done it much, much earlier. Because I'm on the page, let me just give you guys a couple.
I mean, why did they not like already run through these tests before announcing a date even?
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around why it was like this.
It's not a great business decision.
Yeah, if it wasn't like tested and they knew it was going to be ready to rock, you know, at least a day before. But you know what I mean? Like if you had anything you were unsure about, you don't chance it with the kind of money that gets thrown at this stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like, especially like with an anticipated launch like that, you know, eyes are all on you. Then it's not a good look.
Right.
They'll recover. It'll be fine. It's just short term, not good.
When did they mint their pieces? Because maybe they had everybody waiting till like hours before to mint their pieces to be able to, like, let's say upload them or the imagery, and maybe that was their first chance outside of testnet to be able to see like, oh no, this isn't, there's some bug and it's not
some
working.
of them I think minted much earlier, I think. But the bugs were all on site though. They were definitely site issues, not anything related to actually minting them and you know, anything on the artist side. It was fully on the FX Hash side. So just kind of a bummer. I was ready to get a few things. In a way, maybe just me personally, it puts me in maybe a better position to be prepared for some of these drops. Because again, some will be grails. This right here from Peter Pasma. All right, so Flamingo DAO, I'll end up showing a little about them here in just a bit. They swept a whole bunch of art this week. One of the pieces they swept was one of Peter's. So when I see a drop from him on FX Hash, and this is going to be on Ethereum, to me, that's probably a buy for the simple reason that he has some big backers. And really a cool thing here is the tender pass, which I know Cats used to have, and I've got a couple. So these are Dutch auctions. If you have the tender pass, you get this at the lowest price, right? You don't have to buy in and then get refunded the difference if it sells out lower. Just right from the get-go, you get a whitelist ahead of time, you get a separate mint window at the start, and you're buying from the bottom price, which is awesome. So yeah, I was going to grab this one. Again, didn't go live. But I'm going to show you like maybe 2 other calls here that I think are going to be really nice. This one being from Sean Elliott. I think the art's really, really awesome. But biggest thing for me with Sean Elliott is the fact that he has almost 140,000 followers. Kind of matters. Kind of matters to know people have collectors. So to me, that's another easy call as far as you get it for how cheap it is. And you probably are going to see some action on secondary with him. And I'm going to show you just one more. And this one is kind of an alpha call. 2 more, really, because Cyphered's the founder of FX Hash. He's not minted anything in a year and a half, and his stuff really does well on secondary. So he is a drop coming on Ethereum. It's an open edition, though. Hard to say how much action on secondary it'll get. But this guy right here, okay, IPP Sketch. I've seen this called in multiple places. The art's fantastic. He's got a following. So this is also one through FX Tender that you get at the bottom price, which is 0.1 ETH. Tiny collection, 128 editions. This is a call. I will end up minting 2 of this if I'm able to. Really, really, really nice piece. I love that one. So if you're looking at art, if you are getting in on the FX Hash 2.0 launch in a couple weeks here, that's definitely one you should be trying to get. A couple others here, but I'm not going to make this an art show. There's some good stuff coming, though. All right. I'm going to flip back to, I think we're done, D-Gods. I want to flip over to Blast real quick. No, let's do Shrapnel, guys, because that was the other like kind of top story this week. You guys know what happened over at Shrapnel?
I sent it to you.
Oh, it's a good point. Yeah. Okay, you know. Henry, you up on Shrapnel?
Nope. Get me up on Shrapnel.
So Shrapnel, one of the biggest, most promising Web3 games. I'm going to pull up a little footage here. But long story short, the founding team filed a lawsuit against their largest shareholder, who they say is kind of in the midst of a hostile takeover. So he's supposed to issue shares to other investors, which he was not allowing to happen. And apparently he's using some of the company money to pay off his own debts. He's got some other companies who are in the midst of bankruptcy, and he's using Shrapnel funds to pay that off. Hard to say what's true and what's not. So I haven't made any big comments, or I don't have any opinions on this really until it plays out. But just a ton of controversy in a game who happens to have a token that had been absolutely on fire for the past many weeks. So a lot of controversy over there right now. What's funny, man, is they're on Avalanche, who there's just always controversy on Avalanche between the founding team. Some things they've done with lawyers, using lawyers to tie up other blockchains and platforms in litigation to get insight into their platforms and into those projects. It's kind of dirty stuff. Again, don't know how much of any of it's actually true, but these are the reports that have been out there for probably a year now. And so now another very controversial thing happening over there. Don't know what it is about that Avalanche ecosystem, but it's what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for here? It's
shitty.
It's shitty. That was it. It's a shitty situation, and they got a lot of shitty things going on.
Time, the DeFi protocol on Avalanche.
Was that thing we were playing around with and doing all this arbitrage stuff?
Yeah, with like Daniela, was that his name? Daniela, whatever. And it was like, I guess you could say it was a giant Ponzi, and then ultimately he basically rugged it.
Oh.
That was when Avalanche was really starting to kind of heat up. People were being time lords, making generational wealth, and then they rugged.
Jeez.
Yeah, AVAX has a little bit of it seems like an issue over there.
Yeah,
oh wait, is this it?
This is the game.
It's
amazing.
Yeah, I caught this. Okay, I caught this. Yeah, it's actually a badass looking game, right?
Yeah, for real, like incredible looking game, super polished. They've got some very quality devs who worked on big games before. So experienced team. Yeah, not good, but I think survivable. We just have to see how this all plays out, like in the courts. But I'm gonna pull up the Shrap token. see if I can grab that real quick. Reason being, I like to see how collectors are responding to this. Right? Is there a dump and people are worried about their investment? And I don't think they really are, other than short term. Okay, here's where the news dropped, and you can see clearly just a major dump. Right? You would expect that. If it didn't happen, that would be kind of strange. It's recovered everything since then, though. I know the team. It's actually really impressive, their chart. I know the team held a spaces. They've been very open about their side of it, and the community responded. And they, first off, they believe the team side, not this investor side, and they're just as bullish, if not more so now, just getting all this out in the open. So yeah, they recovered basically, well, almost everything since that dump, right? They're not quite back at the same level yet, but performing really, really well. So investors really aren't spooked, and that's ultimately what I was looking for. Back to the game. The game looks absolutely incredible. I keep trying to think of what game do I put my attention on and play and get in the ecosystem. That could be one of them. I would ask what you guys were looking at, but Henry, I know you're not a gamer. Katz, I know you're not either as invested as you are in a game now.
No, not at all.
But yeah,
That's what people are like. Did you apply for the private beta? I'm like, no, because I wouldn't give good input. I don't even know what things mean.
yeah, fair. Well, but they need people like that too, to be honest. Henry would always kind of say that about himself with CyberKongs, but I'm like, that insight is really, really valuable to a team who's buying to, yes, attract gamers, but also how do you not see an opportunity to get people who are maybe not your traditional gamers? Yeah, they're worth some attention too. So I think people who don't game sometimes see things in a different light and maybe can find things that others wouldn't, like that gamers are not thinking about, but are very important. So I get you probably not even having the time to play it, but I bet your insight's probably helpful.
Well, like Valeria's private beta is on PC, and like they like an application, like you had to fill out PC specific stuff. Like I don't even know what these numbers and letters mean. So
okay, well, fair.
I'm like,
maybe you shouldn't.
No.
I'm really
big gaming. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, it was moving topics, so if you got something on shrapnel or gaming, go ahead.
No, yeah, just gaming in general. I'm excited actually to see, because like that shrapnel game, I saw it this week, and I'm like, that looks like an awesome game. And this next bull run that everybody talks about in gaming, I'm just really curious to see. Okay, so like you have Axes, right? Axes with over $4 billion worth of sales. They've got their tokens, SLP, AXS. You had Galaxy Fight Club, which had effectively like one of the first mobile games with the token. So like we've seen games with tokens. I mean, Kongs obviously have a token. Our game is not by any means like what the kind of games we're talking about. With Pixels, which has Berry and potentially a token for land potentially, but like nobody's cracked it yet. Nobody's cracked the sustainability of gaming tokens. So I'm just really curious to know and see in this next like bull run, are we going to be able to crack it? Can we get sustainability? I don't think it's going to be across all of them. I think the issue with tokens and games is the minute there's not utility, and this is the hard part with games, in my opinion, is if the purpose of the token is about the game, then the minute people don't find value in the game, and if you can't reach out to a wider audience, your token's toast. So the reality is like the token needs to be able to do more than just what it is in game. Because we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen a game that's been able to sustain a gaming token.
Yep.
And will we see it this next time? I don't know. I hope we do. Because I see the NFTs themselves being something that people are a little bit more excited for. But when you tie a token to a gaming ecosystem, it does create problems for the NFT, because you've got that parity now, where it's like, oh man, everything about this ecosystem is sort of revolving around this token. And this token that everybody wants, they want it because they're speculating value. And as soon as that goes away, your ecosystem goes down.
Yes, yeah, so that's why I think something like Ron is so important, or a token that's over a broader gaming ecosystem. That I think is what works. And and is the gaming token to focus on. Maybe that's something like Portal. Is that what Big Time is too? I might be wrong there, but is Big Time like a higher like level token that's used throughout an ecosystem, like Gala too? Actually,
I think Gala's a decent example. Yeah, I think Gala's a decent example. It's just it's hard once you're. I said once you're coupled, once the token is coupled, to the game, which obviously is the point of a lot of it. Everything about the ecosystem now rides on that.
It lives and dies by that token. That's totally it.
It kind of does. Whereas, like, if there's other uses for it, if there's more that you can do with it, if it's more than just a game, and there's other things that can happen with that token, I think that gives more possibilities.
Yep.
But somebody might crack it. Somebody might crack it.
Someone will crack it. Watch it be like Epic. Just in general, Epic Games, watch it be maybe Fortnite, maybe they've got that creator platform now. So, there's going to be multiple kind of games like Roblox has, those kind of platforms show that something like that actually Roblox, perfect example, like Robux, Roblox would work in millions of different games under their, kind of creator tools. But speaking of Fortnite, only reason I bring this up is just, it's another perfect example of where we're headed. This is Fortnite's a metaverse. We know how much money without the exact dollar amount, we know the type of money that's thrown at skins in that ecosystem. Dude, almost on a weekly basis now, I'm tempted to buy skins in Fortnite. Like they had, from the comic and cartoon Invincible. They had skins from that were up last weekend. They've got Star Wars skins, and again, they make millions of dollars on those skins. Tonight, actually, they have an Eminem concert. So like the Travis Scott thing from a few years ago, they have an Eminem concert in Fortnite today. Right now, Eminem skins in the game. Like, it's pretty crazy, but this is what makes me just so bullish on, I guess, maybe like M Squared and their tech. And again, the metaverse and stuff that's being built right in front of us, largely in this space, in the NFT space. Man, it's just going to be so huge. So yeah, Fortnite ever released a token, and man, it's just game over,
So I have a dumb question.
Yeah.
Like, why would Fortnite ever want to go into blockchain? Because right now, all that goes into their pockets.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why would they want people to be able to make $1 million themselves off of it, and they only get the royalties or whatever? Yeah, I mean,
That's okay. We should riff on this because that's a really great question. Why would they want to? Henry, if you got any opinions, I have some, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. What is in it for them?
Okay, so right now, let's just say you get an M&M skin, right? And I don't know if you have to buy that skin in a season pass, but let's say you do. So you buy that skin initially. Maybe there's a scarcity model to it, maybe there's not. But that's the end of it, right? So you can't sell it to the dude who comes in or the girl who comes in 2 years from now and wants that skin. So Fortnite makes that money one time. Whereas, like, if you had the ability to sell it on a Fortnite marketplace and they were making a 2.5% or 5% fee every time there was a transaction, think of the volume, just think of the volume that they could do on a secondary market of people trading skins that they could potentially retain their creator fee on. So I just think that's one element of it that they could make significant money off of.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
It's an interesting exercise here to think, like, what is in it for them? It's there's a marketing element to saying that, hey, you guys can make money on this too. Without that, they would never say that, right? But there's something very appealing and a different kind of audience you can bring in if people think there's profits in them for them too. Just the example you guys were already using. You buy the skin, you can go flip it if it appreciates. Counter-Strike skins in the past month, we've seen multiple gun skins that have sold for over $100,000. So huge market for it. Like, I don't play Counter-Strike at all anymore, but I can't lie. I'm tempted to maybe try out that ecosystem and play some of the loot boxes for that reason. And I'm trying to find that Coinbase trailer from yesterday. You guys know what I'm talking about?
I loved it.
Dude,
and actually, Carlini actually gave me a positive comment in Idiots today about it when I talked about how awesome it was.
Well, and to me, that's the reason why. I wish I could find it. I'm not going to dig too hard. But, it was this...
just look up Coinbase on Twitter. It's like, you just search Coinbase on Twitter, and it's like... top result.
The family-friendly one? Was that the one where you had, like, the generate? Yeah.
And to me, that's That's a reason why. It's simply to say, guys, there is a way we can do this different and better. And it's that simple. Like, like people just, like Carlini loved the trailer and I loved it. Who wouldn't watch that and love the idea that, oh, wait, there's a new way we can transact. There's a new way that we can make things fair. And it's
because
that simple.
it's attacking the system. It's not even saying crypto's the solution. It's just pointing out like we have a systematic problem.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to stay this way,
And so
That's
then
great.
imagine if Fortnite championed that, if Epic championed that to say, look, we've always done it this way, but we've realized there's a better way. And to me, that is a reason why them doing it could make sense. You just get everybody all of a sudden excited for him, like, yeah, that's right. This, there is a way. Well, we've been saying all along, right, that being able to sell your stuff on your own, decentralized marketplaces, that's it. It's that simple. A company like Epic coming out and pushing that narrative like Coinbase is doing, it's a good reason. It's great marketing. This is our last bit of gaming news here, but this is big gaming news. So the Illuvium game, who's been, building slowly but surely and epically, right? Just they've been doing a masterful job of putting this game together for years now. So the Illuvium game, there's a PvP arena version of it that went live on the Epic Game Store this week. It's still in beta, but it's free to play. And they've got a major esports team partnership here with Team Liquid. So Team Liquid is out there promoting it. They've got millions of followers on X. They're playing the game competitively. They've put out avatars. They've put out, I think, just collectible. I'm assuming they're NFTs. They may not be, but just JPEGs, right? But they're dropping collectibles now that they're part of this ecosystem. They're Illuvium branded Team Liquid collectibles. So the gaming space is growing, right? It's not just the tokens doing well. It's not just the games finally maturing and looking pretty damn amazing, but we're now seeing esports teams really take it seriously. I think over the years, we've been seeing that slowly happen, like slowly. This might be the biggest esports kind of collaboration with a game we've seen, a Web3 game yet. So I think a major milestone for NFT gaming this week. They have, I said millions of followers. 750,000, which is not nothing, but yeah, major partnership. Man, it's just NFT gaming is really here. It's a big one. Did you guys catch this week, by the way?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, it's a big one.
I didn't. But that's great. Yeah, that's great news for the space for sure. The esports guys have been trying to spread their seed through Web3 for a little bit. We were approached by like Team Secret. Ultimately, what they were looking to do is license their IP for like some ridiculous sums of money. Obviously, Kongs have a relationship with like FaZe Clan, so like the esports are. It's funny, for as much as like gamers you hear about like hate NFTs, the esports teams don't.
That's a good point. No, they don't. I think they get it. Like where we've struggled to get gamers onto the NFT side because they feel like it dirties things up. I don't know, man. The esports guys, because they're involved, I think because they've got like a financial interest in it. They got to pay salaries and they earn money from winning. They get the gamification of the assets, right? So to me, it makes sense that the esports teams have been like sensing this and wanting in. I also find it interesting that Bored Apes have really struggled to get in with esports teams, right? I don't know of any major partnerships. There could be some, but I just know that because on YouTube it caught fire with those, kind of those racism charges and whatnot. A lot of esports teams won't touch Bored Apes, but you'll see them touching other stuff. So I find that interesting. Rajan, good morning, by the way, man. I'm glad you stopped in. Asking why Pudgy Penguins are pumping, and it's a good question. Like, why is anything pumping? Pudgy Penguins in particular, who I don't think had anything new this week, but probably about a month ago, I said Pudgy Penguins are my barometer for the rest of the market right now. What I meant by that is throughout the bear market, first off, they didn't really lose a ton of value when the rest of the market dumped. They lost some, but for the most part, they held their value. And then really for most of the bear, they increased in their value. So when we kicked off this run, maybe, 6 to 8 weeks ago, Pudgy Penguins didn't move a lot. They were pretty darn flat. So I was looking at those and saying, okay, when Pudgy Penguins start moving, because they're priced probably in a fair way, when they start moving, that might mean people are ready to start speculating again, like to really start pushing projects and pumping them and getting into that speculative territory. So now we see this week the Pudgy Penguins are moving. mentioned earlier that they're at an all-time high for their US dollar value. I believe ETH value they have been higher. But yeah, floor Pudgy Penguin is now over $16,000. I think they're pumping because simply people have liquidity and they're ready to speculate again. I honestly think it's that simple. Now, my question is, does that mean people are ready to really speculate on other assets? Like Bored Apes are at, 30-something ETH. Are they ready to start pushing those up to, the 40, 50 range? I don't think so, but that's what I'm watching for, right? Is this an indicator that people are in that spendy kind of mood? What do you guys got? Do you guys have thoughts on Pudgy Penguins and what's going on? And maybe have I missed something there that they did that's leading to this price increase?
No, I honestly, I think you nailed it. You've been saying it for weeks. I think this is just exactly what you've called. I don't think there's anything new. I think it's just, people were speculating on the smaller things, and now they're speculating on something that they think has a little bit of room to run.
And I think it shows that more traders are starting to get liquidity where they can do it, right? Before it was, they got the liquidity and they were going into things that, again, had lost so much value that they saw an opportunity to get back to, a reasonable price. But again, the Pudgies were already reasonably priced. They didn't see that opportunity there. So now they're seeing it again. They're realizing, okay, what's going on out there feels real. Feels like we might be entering a bull market. Let me go grab something that has room to really fly when kind of the broader market starts trading and FOMOing and chasing stuff. And Lil Pudgies too are really benefiting. I don't know what their high was. I think probably over an ETH, but Lil Pudgies, man, I mean,
what are they at now?
They're at basically 0.8. They're at 0.79
nice.
right now. Yeah, they were, dude, in the bear,
0.3,
0.2, 0.3, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're flying. I see those over in ETH soon too. I got to figure out, I know other people probably know this off the top of their head, but that ratio of, the top tier NFT and then the secondary NFT, like what's the ratio usually between them? You could probably look at a Bored Ape and then a Mutant Ape.
Usually, I feel like 10%, give or take.
10%.
Like somewhere in that range.
Well, that puts these right on par because if Pudgy Penguins are 7 to 8 ETH right now, Lil Pudgies are at 0.7 to 0.8, so they're right in that zone.
Yeah, gens are like 5.5 or 6, and babies are 0.5 to 0.6. I think mutants might be a little bit different because I think a mutant is 5 to 7. Where Bored Ape is, like you said, 35, but I think 10% is a decent ratio.
Yeah, very
depending on the collection.
I'd love to see them pump a little more.
I was going to say with Pudgies too, I agree with your take completely, but I think it also helps that Luca went on a blitz of being on all these mainstream news channels, right? Like his face was everywhere, doing interviews everywhere about his story. They got, some other little mystery box thing out at Walmart. Like, so it feels almost safer for a long-term revenue source for people. Whereas projects like The Gods, you're like, okay, well, how are you going to have a sustainable revenue source? I mean, I'm not trying to throw fun. We just talked about them. Like, okay, well, great. It's a social club. But like, Pudgies are in Walmart and he's on like Fortune magazine. Like, if this is who's running this, it seems more sustainable and safer bet than, a social experiment. So
yep. Okay, totally agree. So I'm still going to be watching those Pudgy Penguins, and Lil Pudgies is still my barometer. Switching to Friendtech real quick, which I know that's a pretty sharp left turn, but I don't know. People talking a lot about Friendtech and SoFi really falling off a cliff, which they really have. But I don't think they're in as bad a shape as people think. I mean, volume is down tremendously, but when I look at TVL, it hasn't changed a ton. I mean, maybe you could argue that down 14% in a month is a lot, but I'm shocked to see 35 mil still locked in Friendtech. And then in the past week, them actually increasing a pretty decent amount. So I am still seeing opportunities there. And I'm also still seeing something we've talked about here before. Got to find my Blast tab here. Okay. Blast right now, 634 million locked in that platform, right? This is all part of that Blur ecosystem and the farming going on over there. But my ultimate point here is the flooring protocol, right? And again, this is not a new point. I've talked about this quite a bit. Flooring protocol, I see just a very interesting marketplace, but also a lot of opportunities with these fractionalized assets. You know what? Okay, I'm sorry. This is totally random. This is where I start seeing those arbitrage opportunities. Without telling what exactly that is right here, there's something where Lil Pudgy's floor is basically zero point 0.8 on OpenSea. The floor price right here is 0.68 on the flooring protocol. Now, the only way you get that Little Pudgy out of here is with 1 million U tokens. So you got to go play the price game, the arbitrage game. How much is a million U tokens for the Little Pudgy's collection? What's it going to cost you to get that Little Pudgy that they're valuing at 0.68? You buy that though and go flip it on OpenSea, and you've made around 0.1 ETH potentially. You got to keep your eye on the flooring protocol. I feel really strongly about it that we're going to see some really nice plays out of here. Keep your eye on that. But then that brings me maybe to my ultimate point here, which is NFT stats tweet here that 88% of punks are not traded, right? 86% of Meebits, 85% of World of Women. Most NFTs are held. Okay. Now, flooring protocol's aim is to have 10 to 30% of collection supplies. So if only 10 to 30% of these NFT collections are what's wash traded over on Blur, if those end up being scooped up by the flooring protocol, what's left there to wash trade? What happens to floor prices of NFT collections? It's super interesting. I don't hear a lot of people talking about that. Like, you guys have heard me say it, but is anybody else talking about this?
No, I've not heard that from anyone.
Yeah, I haven't heard it anywhere else either.
Does it make sense that it's not like it's a thing
It
now?
definitely makes sense.
It's just, man, I have this just, again, this perfect storm I see in the spring. That when we really start rocking in and price action starts swinging and gets wild, and flooring protocol has to go sweep collections to keep their the value of those collections in check, they're going to grab them from Blur. They're going to pull those out of that wash trading circulation. Then all that's left is making higher offers to real collectors who, that's what this is showing. They're not letting go. For the most part, they're not letting go of their NFTs. So you're going to have to come with much higher offers. I see this scenario where floor prices really, really increase because of this squeeze that's going to be put on by the flooring protocol. So that is ultimately my take there. There's just something brewing there, guys. There really is.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how it plays out after the blast unlock. It'll be, interesting to see.
Yep. I have a couple other quick news points. They're nothing major. I just thought they're fun, so we can blitz through them. Before that, are there any stories that were on your guys' radar this week? Something that we need to talk about?
Oh, well, I feel like it's always worth, keeping an eye on regulations, because we say like the day of reckoning is still potentially upon us, right? But did you see that the SEC, I think it was in Utah, there was a judge that basically is considering sanctions against the SEC. So the SEC basically put a restraining order. You saw that against, I think it was Debtbox,
yes,
which was like a crypto, basically, like, I don't know if they were running validators or if they were selling mining tokens, or they were doing something. And the SEC basically is accused of being misleading and misrepresenting the facts of the case to the judge in order to get a restraining order. These facts came out, and the judge is considering sanctions against the attorneys,
so
which I'm just
mean?
like. So my not a legal scholar, I'm not 100% sure. I imagine if there's sanctions against the attorneys, that it's probably them, like, personally, for misrepresenting in the courtroom the material facts of the case to get a restraining order that basically froze the bank account of Debtbox. That they were accusing them of closing accounts. I think that they were accusing them of closing accounts in the United States in order to move their money offshore. That's what they used to get a restraining order from a judge to freeze their bank accounts. And Debtbox was able to prove that I believe that they were able to prove that that's not what they did. And that's why this judge, had some harsh language. And it's just interesting to see in, like, whether it's Ripple, whether it's Coinbase, if it's Debtbox, I know there's probably some that I'm missing there, that the SEC has been getting slapped, and that their attorneys have been accused multiple times by judges of being, like, unfair. And I'm not, that's not the words they use. Some of the words they use were worse than that. But it's just really interesting to see all this shit coming out for a dirty fucking agency that is literally just trying to ruin something that they have no idea about.
It's wild. They're on a huge losing streak right now. So that's a big story. I don't know. I think the SEC is okay. While I say on one hand, I keep saying, okay, we've not even seen the impact of the SEC on the NFT space yet, and I do think that still to a degree, but they may get completely blown out. They may not have a case. It's a bummer that someone like Stoner Cats and Impact Theory had to. Did they accept charges? I can't remember technically how that played out. It's a bummer they didn't fight. It's a real bummer
they settled. Yeah, they settled.
Yeah.
But if you were Stoner Cats and you kind of had some of that evidence right in front of you, that was probably going to be really hard to refute in court when you're telling people like sell ETH, convert to USD, buy ETH, sweep the floor. When you're doing stuff like that, it kind of flies against the idea that you're not like promising gains or that people shouldn't expect gains.
Yeah, very true.
Plus, there was this fairly small fine in comparison to like the money they brought in. But you look at the action that like the SEC and the DOJ took against Binance. What was that, a week ago? 9 days ago? And you know, when things happened with FTX, completely different. But look what it did. It imploded. It imploded the space. Binance gets the largest fine ever issued by the Treasury Department, $4 billion plus. And like, we're still here talking about a bull market. So I think people are probably starting to be like, yeah, we don't care. We don't care. We know what their MO is. We know exactly what they're trying to accomplish. And we know that they're going through really unfair processes and procedures to try to push this agenda. So I hope judges continue to call out this kind of nonsense, because I think it's, you know, if you want to bring regulation, make it fair. Stop going out of your way to kind of paint everybody as criminals in this process, when in reality, you can see in this case that wasn't the case. So, yeah, that was just a little blip on my radar this week.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up. I love to see the SEC getting reamed, and I can't wait for a thorough fucking.
Man, if seriously, if we could get a somebody else in the White House that's not a Democrat, the SEC changes like almost instantly, because you have Hester Pierce, who's one of the commissioners who is pro crypto. She gets talked about sometimes. She's one of the two conservative commissioners, and there's a decent chance that she could be the commissioner of the SEC if we had a Republican that got elected. And she writes the dissents anytime there's like a settlement. Look at what she wrote about Stoner Cats and how she references stuff. A lot could change in 2024.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I can't wait. Just because as you were talking, I was diving into the flooring protocol. So I want to show you a little bit about how this works. Okay. So I'm looking at buying a pudgy penguin. Hang on. That might not be the right collection here. Hang on. Let me get this right here. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at the right thing. Okay. Floor price on OpenSea, it shows as 0.78. It shows the flooring protocol at 0.68. You want to go buy this pudgy? Well, first off, it's not going to let you because their reserve ratio is under 20%. Reserve ratio, I believe, is how many little pudgies are in their vault versus how many tokens are out there, something like that, right? So you can only buy this now at auction. That takes away one of those arbitrage opportunities. But here's where you can see buying that fractionalized asset, right? So you need 1 million tokens to go buy the asset. Cost 0.68 to buy those 1 million tokens. If that reserve ratio were just a little higher at 20%, this is how you're going to buy that and at that discount price and be able to go flip it probably on OpenSea. So if you're a super degen, it's definitely worth looking at flooring protocol. I just see those opportunities all over here. So that was my first time clicking by and seeing what that process looks like. And there's definitely gonna be opportunities. I gotta read more about reserve ratio. Like I read it, I understand it, probably not well enough to speak on it though. So I'll go a little more in depth maybe another time here. Okay, I'm gonna throw maybe 2 or 3 quick stories, nothing to really riff on. Bitcoin had some issues this week with mempool sniping. So I guess TLDR here, you go buy something on Bitcoin, let's say with a whitelist, because that's what this really affects. When you go to mint, it throws your transaction not on chain, but into a mempool. People can read that mempool, they can copy your transaction, and they can outgas you. Basically, if you have a whitelist and you go transact, somebody can essentially steal your whitelist. So with ordinals really heating up here, there's a big incentive for people to do exactly that. You got guys who are just hunting and searching through the mempool, looking for those hot projects. I'm assuming there's like contracts, right? They can identify what it is you're buying. So they're watching those hot collections, and if they see someone trying to buy it, they're going to snipe it. They're going to take it right out from under you. So tools on Bitcoin need to evolve immediately, because right now whitelists are just not doable. They're not doable because you'll get them sniped. So interesting development over on Bitcoin. That already exists over on Ethereum, but Bitcoin just was so new, they never had to deal with it, and they do now. Okay, next. Okay, also interesting, this is related to the music industry. There's a platform called Modhouse. It's kind of like American Idol, but for K-pop. So you got artists that compete for votes, right? So they try out, you get votes to maybe make it into their, what's the word I'm looking for? You make it into their, it's not platform, but whatever, to be under their, shit, what's the word I'm looking for? Like their agency, right? One of their artists won female or best new female artist of the year from the Asian Music Awards. So it's just one of those things where we talk a lot about NFTs are going to be disruptive for the music industry, and we used to think it's through royalties. I don't really see that. Like maybe somebody builds out that platform or does it the right way, and that's true. But at the very least, we're seeing a use case for NFTs to act as your access pass to a platform like this, where you, like American Idol, if they turned over voting to the audience, well, shit, they already do, right? You call in. So on American Idol, you call in and you vote. In this case, you have to be an NFT holder to vote on the artists, and again, pretty big platform to have one of their artists win from. So it's a good look for NFTs and the music industry. So that was a big story that was way under the radar this week. And Modhouse recently raised like $8 million. So they're growing. They're definitely something to be watching. I don't know if there's secondary plays. I'm not sure about that yet, but you could picture that, like picture an artist as big as Taylor Swift or any of those other mega superstars, and if they were involved in a platform where you had an NFT, that could be traded on secondary, and there was a way for you to profit. There's a way this all comes together and works and benefits traders and collectors and whatever, and just great to see an example of that maybe starting to brew. I think that's it, though, for my stories, for our news, for our market. Cass, did you have anything?
No, man, I'm good.
He's here. Okay, cool. I'll end here. You guys have probably seen this. I know Henry has. Cats, you may not have, but I'll just do a little self promotion. But Crypto Bats, we have a new collection launching on Monday. I actually think this is super, super cool, and it's different. So we did Ancient Bats earlier this year. It's basically a 6-month IRL scavenger hunt. If you have a crypto bat, you got access to these ciphers. You solve the cipher, you get coordinates, and you go to those coordinates and you claim an ancient bat. They were free, right? If you're an NFT holder, you get to go play that game for free. Now those ancient bats now get to create this new collection called Mega Mutants. These Mega Mutants all have traits that were hand-drawn by Ozzy Osbourne, which I think is super freaking cool. If you're an Ozzy fan especially, and in CryptoBats, we have a lot of hardcore Ozzy fans. Picture your favorite band or your favorite artist. Picture them getting hands-on doing traits for an NFT collection. So if this doesn't appeal to you, just picture it's your favorite person doing it, and you could kind of get how it appeals to some people. I love it. The traits in particular, at first I didn't get it. Now I do, and I love it. It feels very hands-on that, again, Ozzy drew these, and as he drew them, nobody changed them. They didn't just use it as inspiration for traits. They took his actual hand-drawn trait, and they put it right on on these mutant bats. So I love it. Again, these go live on Monday. Only Ancient Bats holders can create them. I am curious personally to see if there's any secondary market for them. They'll be cheap, but people who are Aussie fans, again, to get a little small slice of Aussie, I think it's a really, really cool NFT and another innovation from the crypto bats. I love it. What can we end on? Is there anything spicy to end on? I'm not sure. You guys got plans for the weekend? Henry, you're back up here.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a question. Does the ancient bat bite a crypto bat, or does it bite one of the interoperable projects?
So no biting needed, really. I mean, we do call it biting. It's a biting portal. Truth is, I don't actually know. I think it'll bite something. Maybe it bites Aussie even. There'll be something that has to do with biting, but you don't need another NFT to do this. You just simply put your ancient bat in this portal. There'll be some lore around it about what it's biting, I'm sure, but all you need is the ancient bat, and boom, you can create these guys. And it ranges by ancient bat. They were all randomly assigned a number, ranging from, I want to say 9 all the way up to 99. So to me, the rarest ancient bats are the ones that can do 99 bites, meaning they can create 99 mega mutant bats. Those to me are pretty damn awesome.
I got to get one. Yeah, I got to get one.
I would love an ancient bat. I'm not going to spend 0.3 or 0.5 ETH on one, but I will go buy some mega mutants on secondary just because I think it's cool. And again, I think it's innovative. And I just think I wasn't an Aussie fan before. I wasn't not a fan. I just knew those classic Black Sabbath songs, but I've really, really grown to love Aussie. Like as a businessman and as a creative person over the past year here. So just to have another slice of Aussie, I'm going to be shopping for some of these. And there are some rare traits. There's even a 1/1 trait in the collection. So I think they're cool. You can get a combination too. So you can get a mega mutant that has multiple Aussie traits. I love it personally. Monday, I want to say 6 p.m. Eastern time. These go live. So looking forward to seeing those outputs. And may do a little secondary shopping.
Yeah, I hope, and I think history will reflect Aussie, not just on the music side, but like when this is mass adopted, and people go back in time to remember like some of the first projects. I really hope Aussie's remembered as somebody who took a gamble early, because what he did with Sutter Systems was awesome, and they're not deserving in any way. We've talked about this before, of any of the FUD that people who bought the top, accuse them of. They've done a good job really rolling things out.
Dude, they really have. It's one of those perfect examples of people like wanting innovation, and again, it's bullshit. They don't want innovation. They want their bags pumped, because Sutter Systems with the crypto bats did innovate, right? Doing the biting, having those projects that you could bite to then have the traits basically morphed into a new bat for you, and with the mutant bats. Incredibly innovative. At that time, nobody was doing anything like that. But the fact that was free for holders, and then free for holders was an on cyber, gallery, or we'll call it a gallery. But you got a free on cyber environment to show off your art. You got free artwork from Ozzy himself, like never before seen paintings that he did. You got those airdrop for free. What else was free? The Ancient Bats game was free, and then again, now this Mega Mutants collection free. Everything was free after that initial mint. So yes, they've always been undeserving of a FUD. They always have been building the thing people want to see, and, unfortunately, people don't appreciate it. I'm with you. I think they will in the long run. When we look back at what collections were milestones, like in our roadmap for NFTs, this was one both on the speculative part, because this was the hottest thing in the entire world for a month or two there, but then on the actual innovation side and showing, I think, just what you can do with NFTs to have fun with them as pure collectibles. I think nobody's done that better maybe than the crypto bats. So I'm with you, and I freaking love the collection.
We definitely had some fun with the the Halloween party and stuff in the caves, and that was a cool experience doing the on cyber stuff.
Yeah, man, I had a blast with all that stuff. I hope there's more to come, and can't forget too that Ozzy did Ozfest in the metaverse in Decentraland. I mean, again, just the guy was willing to put his name out there, doing some innovative stuff. Took some heat for it too from people who don't get crypto and NFTs, but respect the hell out of him being willing to do it, and when he committed to doing it, sticking with it. So I love that, and again, I've really grown to love the guy. Excuse me, guys. I think that's it. I'm looking forward to today. I've got 2 fun things on my agenda. One being, I'm starting to learn. We talked about this, Cats, but I'm starting to learn Python. I'm trying to learn to make charts, so I'm going to get into that a bit today. And number 2, I'm going to play some VR. Like, I haven't played VR in months at this point, and I saw that Steam released something that lets you connect your Steam library wirelessly to your headset. That existed, I think, in other ways before, but not like built right into Steam. So I'm gonna get into some like PC VR games. Play those on my Quest. Like, I've been itching to VR games, so this is gonna be pretty fun. You guys got plans?
Enjoy it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm buying something, man. I'm degenning into something today.
Oh, what are you getting?
I've got a few things I got a few things on my mind. Maybe a Valeria land. I want to pick up a little bit of a Ron bag because I think that still has room to run. To be totally honest with you, debating, even though it's a much heavier lift, a V1 Punk.
Yes.
So I've been holding off for a bit on like anything big. I don't think I've bought anything over 0.25 ETH in a while. So I'm like something. Are V1 Punks like north of 5 ETH right now?
They were. I think they're actually down. Last I checked, they were down closer to like in the 3 range. Let's check.
Yeah,
let's check because
3. I could be a player. I could be a player in the 3s. I didn't want to look because I didn't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, 3.89.
Okay, yeah, not crazy.
Now the nicer ones, like probably ones you'd be looking at, maybe 4.5 or 5. But throw some offers. People will take them. These are awesome because they fluctuate so much. Because really, because the supply is still increasing. There's still about 3,000 or so left to mint. That are still have not been wrapped over. So supply will keep increasing. God, I've got to get one way or another. I've got to get my Hackatow piece moved like so badly. Now they're releasing a generative project on Art Blocks. I hope that's enough to bring some attention to them. But the moment that Hackatow sells, I'm in a V1 Punk and never selling it ever.
Yeah, just one of those kind of grailish NFTs that you just toss away. I man, conviction on that is so high.
Yeah, I'm with you. How could it not? It is. If CryptoPunks, it's not even if, but just phrasing it that way. If CryptoPunks are the inspiration for everything, how can the very first iteration of them, the original minted ones, not be so much more significant than they are, in the 3, 4, 5 ETH range? At one point, their floor price was 25
20?
ETH.
Man, that was nuts.
That was absolutely nuts. I am so full of regret. Not really, but yeah, that was wild. And I think they'll be back there one day when CryptoPunks are $1 million floor, which I believe. Yeah, I imagine these will be a 6-figure floor at some point too. So a V1 Punk, very, very, very smart. Damn it, I can't look at that page anymore.
No, I know. I just, you know what? It's like, yeah. There's so much I want. There's some art I want. But it's like this nostalgic stuff. It's funny talking about like, oh, it's nostalgic because it's from a couple years ago ish, give or take. But it brings back awesome memories, just like of idiots and just the full time degen mode that we were in with bats and Kongs and V1 Punks and like literally NFT boxes, X copy, just fun shit, man.
Yeah, that was a magical time, man. I don't know if anything will ever top it. Even if the prices do, it was just the time was special. Pretty amazing time.
Yeah,
guys, I hope
you enjoy your stuff.
Yeah, thanks, man. Hope your weekend's great. Katz, same to you too, man. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Andrew, you're still here, I think. So grateful you came by and hung out. And yeah, there's some degen plays. He's dropped some in the chat. So hang on. Winner and Beam. Yeah, I guess a lot going on. Stuff's cooking out there. It's pretty nice. And I'd like to see NFTs cook a little more. I think they will. Guys, tomorrow. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say next weekend, what is it? Overworld, I think I'm doing a spaces with on Tuesday. That's from Ubisoft, right? Or no, maybe I'm confusing it too. Overworld is a hype mint that's coming up, but I think Ubisoft has a drop coming up.
They got that Champions game, yeah.
Yeah. So a couple things to have your eye out for, but Overworld's a hype mint. I think that mints this week or early the week after.
Oh, okay. I've seen this. You got whitelist for it?
Kong's got whitelist. We're doing the spaces on Tuesday with them, but I don't think I have a whitelist for it.
I gotta start. We've talked about this. I gotta start paying attention to the whitelists over there because they're raffles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta start.
Oh, you want to know something? This raffle hasn't occurred yet.
Oh. Sure.
So, yep. Not yet.
Does it still go by activity? Like if you're not active, you don't have a good shot at hitting those whitelists?
So now it's down to like a system of assets that you own.
Oh. Cool.
It might have some sort of check on it, but there is a little bit of a multiplier of assets that you own in the ecosystem. But you've got VXs, you've got a baby, so you're good.
Okay, good. Yeah. I'm gonna keep my eye out there.
You're good, sir.
Good. Cannot wait. All right, guys. Well, to the crew that's here again, appreciate you guys. Like you wouldn't believe. It's. I don't know that I'd be doing the show if you guys weren't joining. And again, there's still some changes coming to the show. So be on the lookout for that. Tomorrow morning, I'll do the standard 5-minute video, hit on the market, hit on all the happenings. We'll review, I guess, the week of the market because it wraps up tomorrow. So should be fun. Guys, we'll catch you later. Have a great weekend. We'll see you later. Bye.
Have a great weekend.
See you, cats.